Most of us enjoy getting out where the air is fresh now and then and seeing flowers, plants, and trees. But did you know that spending time with plant life may also be good for your health? Researchers have found measurable positive effects just from being able to look at plants from a distance. And some retirement communities are taking the cue and creating what are known as therapeutic gardens. Let's see what they're all about.
As a retired horticulturalist, Elizabeth Farley still spends much of her time reading up on the latest gardening trends.
Can't give it up.
But each day, she sets aside time for a very important trip.
Sometimes I go in the morning, sometimes I go in the afternoon. Just depends on the weather and my schedule for the day.
It's just a short trip, but it takes her to a special place and a very important person.
Well, I think we'll go outside now, okay? You ready to go outside?
Before Elizabeth's husband, Belmont, began to lose his memory to Alzheimer's, the two of them often spent their days outdoors.
We spent a lot of time out in the woods when we were younger and our children were younger, and so Belmont always liked that. He likes trees especially, so.
Today, because of Belmont's illness, he and Elizabeth live apart.
It's you know, quite a change when you've been married for 50-some years to not have the same sort of relationship that you've had all those years.
While their homes are both in Cathedral Village, a Philadelphia retirement community, Belmont stays in the long-term care facility, and Elizabeth is in her own independent apartment.
It's very difficult because he was always a person who verbalized very well, so he hardly has any speech left now, so that's difficult to adjust to. Well, this is something we can come out and do together. I mean, you can kind of forget, you know, the realities sometimes.
Now, the retirement community's garden is the one place they can become a couple once again. While Elizabeth rarely gets much reaction from Belmont, his time here may play a crucial role in improving his quality of life. This place was created to be more than just a pretty spot. It's called a healing garden.
There is no question that gardens can heal. Flat out, unquestionable, yes. It's been proven, it's been shown through research.
Landscape architect Jack Carman helped Peg Schofield, Cathedral Village's horticultural director, to design the community's healing garden.
I feel healing happens on many levels. A garden seems to really stimulate that and encourage that.
Study after study has shown what an important effect gardens can have on human health. Researchers have found that patients whose rooms have views of a garden tend to experience less stress and lower blood pressure than other patients. For Elizabeth and Belmont, the garden offers a chance for reflection, tranquility, and being at one with nature.
There's one at the feeder.
I think also when you're at the end and you're losing a lot of your independence and all those kinds of issues, it's nice to think, I still have a purpose. I can go out into the garden.
You like this?
As they relax in the warm summer breeze, Elizabeth and Belmont find comfort and an escape from the stresses of needles and nurses.
It's really nicer to sit out here than to be in a room, I think. Take people beyond their own problems. I think gardens and plants do that for people.
For Elizabeth and Belmont, the healing garden fulfills its purpose. It's a place where day-to-day problems seem to disappear, and a lifetime together is not forgotten.
Bye.
Joining me to tell us more about Therapeutic Gardens is Nancy Carman. Nancy is a gerontologist and works as a consultant with New Life Management and Develop Incorporated. The New Jersey-based company develops, markets, and manages senior retirement communities throughout the United States. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Tell me what a therapeutic garden actually is.
Therapeutic garden is a special type of garden that's designed for a specific population, such as seniors. It might be designed for people in a hospital setting, and it has certain design elements that are unique to that population.
Well, tell me what makes it unique as opposed to an ordinary garden.
In terms of making a therapeutic garden unique is that it is helpful to the people that are utilizing it. It's a safe, secure environment. There may be special plants that are there to contribute to the well-being of the individual or the group of people.
In our package, we talked a little bit about the actual physiological changes that can happen, lowering your blood pressure, lowering your stress. What are some other outcomes that can come from being surrounded by such a beautiful garden?
It can help to promote healthy sleep. It can promote in terms of appetite and nutrition, in terms of exercise. That's one of the things that is cited by many of the people, seniors we talk to in focus groups, that they want to have paths, walking paths, in their retirement communities.
Now, is it through the sight and the smell of the garden, or what is it that acts within us?
It's in terms of stimulation of all the senses, in terms of vision, touch, hearing, interacting with the garden. It helps to really normalize and regulate how we operate as human beings on a day-to-day basis.
It sounds so terrific. This may be an outlandish question, but do medical professionals actually prescribe such a garden for health and well-being?
I don't think they prescribe in terms of a prescription like you would a medication, but they certainly do advocate that individuals go out and experience nature, exercise out of doors, with the doctor's prescription, and it has a positive mood affecting for an individual.
Now, we talked at the beginning of the segment about it helping mature adults. Can it help anyone?
Yes, it can help anyone of any age. I think we all have a natural inclination to be outdoors. There's an attraction to nature. It's been coined as the biophilia hypothesis, where we are intrinsically drawn to the outdoors, to nature.
Can you repeat that? The biophilia hypothesis.
Yeah.
So is this something that you all take into consideration when you actually design the gardens?
Absolutely. We look at the out of doors. How easy, how accessible is the out of doors for the people inside or who reside in continuing care retirement communities.
So when you say that in retirement communities, if you've got mature adults versus the rest of the population, how would you design something so it's specifically geared toward the older segment of our population?
Well, it really would depend on the person residing within the community in terms of independent living, where they might want walking paths, they want exercise stations. It might be in the healthcare center where there's rehabilitation that goes on outdoors, where managing the steps, learning to go up and down steps again after maybe hip surgery. For someone in assisted living, it might be a garden where they have raised planters, where it's more accessible. They can actually do planting, growing their own vegetables and flowers. Or in a dementia care garden where it's secure, where they can do some purposeful wandering, they can feel comfortable, familiar. There's no outside distraction. The plants are non-toxic, non-injurious, so that the healthcare providers, the formal caregivers, as well as family members, can be with them, interact with them, like we saw in the segment, really normalize relationships and really enjoy being together. It
sounds like such a wonderful and valuable part of a retirement community. Do many retirement communities actually have therapeutic gardens?
Many do. We'd like to see more that do have them, and we do purposely plan them in our communities. It's certainly something that more and more communities are taking notice of.
How do you find out if your community has one?
In terms of going to the community and asking, where's the garden? Where is where do people go and have activities or concerts or spend time together? What types of gardens do you have in your community? How accessible is it? Where is it?
So tell me, with these therapeutic gardens, do the seniors actually participate in the gardening as well?
Absolutely. That's a really important part of the garden in terms of planning it. What types of plants, what types of activities do they want to be held in that garden? It's their garden.
So every day they actually go out and help with the gardening process?
Absolutely. Those who want to, who can. There's some that just would prefer to sit and enjoy and watching the gardening go on right before them.
Well, great information. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for being here.